Hey everyone, it's Jason, and welcome to another Marvel United unboxing. This is for the Multiverse Kickstarter stretch goal promo characters video part 3. We are still doing villains. So part 1 we did a bunch of villains, part 2 we did some more villains. So part 3 we're doing the last of the villains, although most of these are actually anti-heroes. But we're just doing the villain portions of their deck. So we'll go into the hero portion when we go through all the hero characters in the next couple of videos if you're following along from start to finish. So yeah, let's just go ahead and hop right into this. So we're going to get some fun anti-heroes in this set. We're going to start off with, we have an X-Men villain. So we had too many X-Men characters in because we had a full season of X-Men, so they didn't add too many extras in here, which is kind of nice, but there were some that I think needed to be made. One would be Ileana Rasputin, or Dark Child. So we do have a version of Magic, where it's more of her New Mutant version. This is kind of her more current adult X-Men version, and then kind of where she gets Dark Child, where she becomes sometimes goes a little bit evil, or at least more I'm gonna do things my way type of thing. So we have special step is keep the Limbo card face up next to the villain's starting location. Move one random master plan card from Dark Child's deck. Heroes can choose Limbo location's Dark Child's starting location. If they do, they remove one additional master plan card from her deck. Interesting, so Sherry starts with potentially 2 less cards in her deck, which could make her very interesting. And then we have special Limbo location for it. It's a little small one. It's not a big giant full location, so only she can use it. Alright, so we have on her card here, we have 5, 7, and 8 health. Special rule, at the end of the villain turn, if one or more heroes have taken any damage that turn, place 2 crisis tokens on the Limbo card. When a hero is KO'd, Dark Child doesn't activate her BAM. Instead, move that hero to Limbo. Hero can spend any 2 actions while on Limbo card to remove 1 crisis token there. Okay. So they take damage, put crisis tokens on the Limbo card. They get defeated, they go to Limbo. And while they're there, they can spend, when they revive, they can spend actions to remove crisis tokens. Bam, deal 1 damage to each hero in Dark Child's location. Overflow if they can't be added, add a crisis token there. And Villainous Pot. Heroes group if there are 12 or more crisis tokens on the Limbo card. Interesting, so you almost have to get KO'd to go to the Limbo card so you can start removing tokens. Interesting design. Like, specifically it needs you to get KO'd to be able to stop the villain. That's kind of cool. Alright, let's look at her miniature. It'll be purple again because we're anti-heroing it. Come on. You can focus. I believe in you. There we go. So yeah, so the big giant soul sword. She's got like her metal armor. This is more of a current version of her versus like her more demonic version. I actually wanted to make her the anti-hero, so they had her in like her current X-Men form. Although if like there's a true Dark Child, she would have had like the goat's feet and like the devil horns. So I get that. Like, you know, like how do you kind of be better to have her as a dual character than just the full-on evil version. Alright, so let's look at what her cards do. First of all, let's take a look at her threats. She has 6 Limbo Demons, who just when they bam deal 2 damage among the heroes at this location. And then her actual Limbo location says, heroes starting their turn here discard all their action tokens. Well, here, when they move, they can move to any location. This is now a location. Heroes ending their turn here take 1 unpreventable damage. Except Magic or Dark Child. Interesting. Well, here they can move to any, she can move from there to any location, but the only way currently, unless she has some cards to move people there, is to get KO'd. But they're gonna take a damage each turn, so you might have to like die, get in there, try and quickly take out as many of them tokens as possible. Interesting. Could be like a race for time. Alright, what does she have for cards? She has, at Sword Point, she has 2 copies of those. One for clockwise, one for counterclockwise. Move the next hero with any location of any hero. At Sword Point says deal 2 unpreventable damage to the hero in Dark Child's location with the most cards in their hand. And then she has no snowflakes in hell, which of course Colossus, her brother, always calls her little snowflake. That was more of an Arnold than a Russian accent. Add 1 crisis token to the limbo for each hero. There. And then she has one that does it at a 4, or a 2 and a 4. Then she has soul harvesting for 3 movement. As long as this card's based up on the storyline, if a hero ends your turn on the limbo card, add 1 crisis token there. Ooh, so you got to get... So you have to be in limbo to slowly remove crisis tokens so they don't overwhelm. But every time you're there, it's just bad. You're going to take extra damage, or things are going to add extra crisis. So basically, you have to get there, spend as many hero tokens as you can to remove stuff, and then get out of there. So you're not adding to it. And then you have to die to go back there. So that's very interesting. We have a 3, and then we have some generic movements. We have a 5, a 4, a 2, a 1, a counterclockwise to any hero, and a clockwise with any hero. So very interesting. So yeah, to get back and forth, like she can banish you there with an ability, and you can move out of there, no extra penalties. You just lose your extra tokens. So you can't save up a bunch of tokens and get there. And since it's not a location, you can't move there. So yeah, the only way to get there is to die, to go to limbo, and then you have to try and escape, which is, oh, that's interesting gameplay strategy. I don't know how hard that's gonna be. Alright, let's look at our next anti-hero villain. We have Dakin, or a hero, the son of Wolverine, which is interesting, because originally when they had him played, he was his undead, like, Apocalypse version, so they rechanged it just to be the regular version, which is cool, because it makes more sense for him to be a regular character. So special set aside the Healing Factor Master Plan card. It'll say Starting Master Plan, of course. Place it face down on top of the deck and shuffle the deck. Assign the hunted token to the hero with the most attack at the bottom cards of their hero deck. Case of Kai, assign the hunted token to the hero with the most attack at the bottom of the cards in their hero deck. In the case of heroes, choose, and they're hunted heroes. Place the villain tracker on there for 3. Okay. So there's our hunted token. Same one Sabretooth uses from the X-Men set. So kind of interesting. Alright, so then he has 5, 7, and 9 health. Let me back this up just a tad bit more. Alright, special rules. A hero in the same location as Dakin can challenge him once during their action phase. To challenge him, reveal the top 3 cards of Dakin's hero deck. Then the hero reveals their hand. Whoever has the most attack, the bottom of the revealed card wins the challenge. Then move the challenge tracker 1 space to their side. In the case of a tie, Dakin wins. Put Dakin's cards at the bottom of his hero deck. When a hero is KO'd, Dakin doesn't activate his ban. Instead, move the challenge tracker 1 space to his side and shuffle his hero deck. Interesting, so he's going to use his hero deck a lot in here. Challenge. 1 hero in Dakin's location. Dakin's burst challenge is the hunted hero, if present. And then deal 2 damage to 1 hero in Dakin's location. So you always target the hunted hero first. Overflow, if they can't be added, bring back 1 random cleared threat. In play, burst clockwise location with all threat possible. Tracker reaches the leftmost space, heroes lose. So you can keep it at 4 as much as you want, as long as it doesn't reach his side, you win. He wins if it hits his side. After cards of Dakin's hero deck reveals their hand. Whoever has the most Attack at the bottom. Interesting. Okay, I did miss out on shuffle Daxton's hero deck and keep it face down to the side. Okay, cool. So he probably has a bunch of attacks on lots of his cards. I'm not going to pull his deck to show that off because it's probably fairly obvious. All right, what does his miniature look like? Of course, he is now part of the, or he was at least for a while. They're part of the X Factor team. Plus, he works with Laura. So now you actually have a cool Wolverine team because you could have Dakin, X-23, and Wolverine. So you could have the three of them. And if you want to have a fourth one, you could add for the Wolverines team. You could add Mystique. She works with them a lot. Or you could have, you want to push it, you could have Age of Apocalypse. Sabretooth would be the other one. Alright, but what does Dakin's threats look like? He has 3 copies of Master Tactician. If involved in a challenge below this location, Dakin reveals 1 extra card from the top of his hero deck. And we have 3 copies of Burning the World. Deal 1 damage to 1 hero in each adjacent location. Interesting. Alright, then his regular cards are going to be move to the hero with the hunter. Move to the location with the hunted hero. So you're going to try and take out them guys. Got a couple of them, just different symbols on the bottom. It's got a 1, a 2, a 4, a 5. Master Manipulator. In each location with more than 1 hero, each hero there must reveal 1 random card from their hand and deal damage to another hero in their location equal to the number of attack on the bottom. Oh boy. So you gotta kind of want to stay separated. Setting up an ambush. He's got 2 of those. Bring back 1 random cleared threat into play in the next clockwise location without a threat. And then his starting card was Healing Factor. As long as this card is face up on the start line, Dakin recovers 1 health at the start of each villain turn. Interesting. I'm trying to see if I could grab his deck quick, but I don't know where it's at. 1 sec. Alright. We're just going to take a quick look at his hero deck. I'm not going to go through all the effects on there. I just want to see the symbols. So he has 2 attack, an attack, an attack. He has an attack there. He has a couple of wilds. He's got some movement. But an attack, an attack, an attack, and a movement. So, out of his 10 cards, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 of his 10 cards all have attacks. So, he is going to have a lot of attacking going on. Alright, then we have U.S. Agent. Walker. His name is Walker. Why can't I think of his first name? Oh, that's gonna drive me nuts. Alright, the U.S. Agent here has he's actually quite interesting. I just know Dakin uses his hero deck. So does U.S. Agent. He uses his hero deck as well, but very differently. Take U.S. Agent's hero deck and shuffle it. These are considered master plan cards this game. Take the U.S. Agent shield equipment, keep it face up next to the dashboard. Ooh, I didn't grab the equipment card for him. So let's flip this over and we can see what he does. So he has 6, 7, 8 health. And that says, trying to figure out where the... Oh, I don't even have those opened. Alright, so it says at the start of each billing turn, draw a U.S. Agent hero card and play it in the starter. Resolve each symbol at the bottom in any special effect in order. So that's kind of neat. So, like, it's gonna, so I'll draw, like, the first card here. If I draw this one, it's gonna have a wild. So I do whatever the wild says. But if I drew This one has move and attack, so now I do the move, then the attack ability in that order. The other one do wild, then special effects. So it says you have a move, says move him clockwise one location. You have a hero, deal 1 damage to each hero in both adjacent locations to U.S. agents. Attack, deal 1 damage to each hero in his location. Wild, move U.S. agent clockwise to the next location with any hero, deal 1 unpreventable damage to 1 hero there. Special effect, U.S. agent resolves the effect. And then it says, as long as U.S. agent shield equipment is spaced up, U.S. agent ignores 2 damage for each hero turn. Heroes may spend 2 heroic in a location to flip it face down. When a hero's tailed, remove the top card from U.S. agent's deck from the game. Interesting set as a shield, so it'll basically just be out there, just so you have a front to back for it. Doesn't do anything itself otherwise. Overflow, there are location. You can't be added a location, deal 1 damage to a hero there with the fewest cards in hand. Alright, so he's going to be fairly simple in the fact of he's just trying to do damage to you and take everyone out. Then eventually play all his things. But every time he kills a hero, he gets 1 less card. So he only starts with 10 cards instead of 12. And every time he defeats someone, it gets reduced even farther. So the longer it takes, the quicker he takes guys out, the less time he's going to have to stick around. Interesting. So then let's go ahead and look at his miniature and his deck. So we're going to look straight up at his hero deck. So there's this card. Nothing extra on his shield, like caps. He's got some sandbags, some tires. Very cool. He's always like the grumpy Captain America. Like always, anytime you read him, he's just like I'm for America, but he's always like he does it in the worst way possible. All right, he does have threat cards though, like a regular villain. So he has 3 copies of the Jury. So this is a group of armor-clad government guys that he'll have. Sometimes he works with. It says, if he lands there, add 2 thugs to this location. U.S. agents under pressure. Additionally, add 2 thugs to each adjacent location. So you can summon the Jury to come help him out. They're kind of like Iron Man type characters. And he has 3 copies of government agents, which add 2 civilians to locations. So cool, now help him get his overflow if he needs to. Then his deck is going to be, we're just going to kind of fly through this quick. So you'll have a moving attack, so he gets to move and do damage to heroes in his location. Move, deal damage to heroes in adjacent locations. Let's remember what all these do. Wilds were move to the next location of the hero and deal 1 damage to them. This will do that twice, so he does 2 extra damage. Then he has 2 copies of whatever it takes, which will move, deal damage. And then it does the ability. It says, till the beginning of your next turn, you may redirect the first damage you would take to the rightmost hero civilian location, discarding it. So he gets to protect himself. He's got 2 do the work, so this will let him do damage to guys in adjacent, and then move clockwise to the next location with any heroes, then do 1 damage there. 2 shield blows, so he gets to move, and then damage whoever's there, and then recharges shield equipment. Oh, that's fun. So that way if he does heroes do turn it down, he has a way of getting it turned back up. And his last 2 are No Mercy, which will let him move to a hero's location, deal damage, then deal damage in that location again. If you do, you have to discard a civilian there. So that's pretty cool. That's a neat way to play his deck. I get not every hero could be played that way because some of them have different effects that do this and that. His had to be specially designed so it worked to move there, but it is a neat way of doing a anti-hero. So that's pretty fun. Alright. Up next, we have a Thunderbolt. We have Moonstone. Carla Soften. So we're gonna move these guys there. Put these guys over here. Sorry. Yeah, so she's went by Moonstone, and she's been Miss Marvel for a while, and she's with the Dark Dark Avengers. So it's a special setup. Place the Moonstone gem on its attached side in a slot on its dashboard. Cool. Alright, so we flip her over. This is a big Moonstone spot. She has 4, 6, or 7 health. Special rules. Moonstone can't be damaged if the Moonstone gem card is attached. Any hero can spend hero at the Moonstone's location during the turn to flip the Moonstone gem card to its stolen side. When a hero is killed, Moonstone doesn't activate her ban. Instead, if the Moonstone gem is stolen, flip it to its attack side. If it is attached, draw a Master Plan card, active it face down. Okay, so she just can't be hurt while it's there, so you have to spend resources playing that card. Very interesting. Which looks like also gives some extra abilities there. Overflow. Can't enemy deal 1 damage to 1 hero anywhere. Cool. Alright, so then what does her deck look like? And of course, she's a anti-hero because she's again part of the Thunderbolts, which were the team of Masters of Evil that decided to eventually just start being heroes, and she's been on almost every single version of the Thunderbolts. I think the only one she wasn't part of was why won't you focus? Here we go. Was Red Hulk's team. Yeah, very interesting. Model's alright. It's an okay miniature. Without kind of having the hand special effects, it doesn't look as cool. Sometimes it's a downside if they have abilities where they're supposed to be shooting powers or blasts and they don't have anything. They don't look as neat. Hers would have been kind of neat if they would have been maybe showing her intangibility a little bit more. That would have been kind of cool for the miniature. Our problem is trying to figure out how to put, like, when I paint my guys up, some of these guys have to find some, like, D&D, like, miniature things to add. Add special things to them. Like little effect things. That'd be kind of neat. Alright, so she has her Moonstone gem attached. She has, bam, 1 hero Moonstone's location reveals her hand, takes another damage equal to the number of cards with special effects they have in their hand. Ooh, boy. And then if it's stolen, she says, bam, if Moonstone is adjacent locations, deal 1 damage to 1 hero there. If there are any thugs, and 1 damage to 1 hero if there are any civilians. Nice. So she could potentially do 2 damage to each one if there's a thug and a civilian. Then she has her threat cards. So her threats is she's going to have 3 copies of Manipulative Skills. Hero starting their turn in this location must forfeit 1 available action. Then she has some of her allies from the Dark Avengers. She has Bullseye. Deal 1 damage to 1 hero in this location, and 2 damage to 1 hero in the opposite location. Venom. Deal 1 damage to each hero in this location. And then Songbird, also her Thunderbolt teammate. Deal 1 damage to 1 hero in this location and each adjacent location. Heroes using move to leave this location must use double move instead. Cool, cool. Alright. Then we have her basic ones. We have 1 move, a 2 move, a 4 move, a 5 move. Counterclockwise in location with any heroes. Another one with different things on the bottom. Then clockwise with any heroes. And another one. Then she has a 2 copies of 0 Gravity Manipulation. All heroes in Moonstone and both adjacent locations reveal their hand. Each hero with no cards or special effects takes damage until they are KO'd. Wow, so she has her 1 Moonstone ability, which she does damage if you have special cards. And then this one, she takes them out if you don't have special ones. Crazy. Then she has Intangibility. Once this card is face up and the start if the Moonstone gem is attacked, the heroes need to spend 1 extra hero to flip it. And then she finally has Revenge. The Moonstone gem is stolen, flip it, and move Moonstone to the opposite location. Otherwise, bam. So cool. yeah, it's just gonna have to play around trying to get rid of that, flip that back and forth so you can do it. Otherwise, she's just gonna be pretty straightforward, dealing you damage. Alright, then we have a interesting team of villains, a setup for this, is we have the Dark Avengers. So this kind of went with Iron Patriot and Green Goblin. Norman Osborn taking over Hammer. They took over the title of the Avengers. He put villains, kind of like Thunderbolts style. He put villains in the role of heroes. So he had like Moonstone became Miss Marvel, Dakin became Wolverine, Bullseye became Hawkeye. So they had some villains, and then they had some other villains in there. Venom became Spider-Man, like in the black suit. So it's kind of neat. So this kind of plays on that theme of that. There are 3 regular missions are not used in this game. Choose 3 Dark Avengers to be villains in this game. Place their villain threat cards on their villain side. So we have a stack of these. So we have a stack of villain threats and heroes. Threats and henchmen. On their villain side, in the 3 mission spaces are their game pieces and the villain's starting location. Choose 3 of the remaining 4 villain threats, place them on their threat side and one of the hero's starting location and 2 in the other locations adjacent to the villain's location, with the Dark Avengers not being used from this game. This is kind of neat. So we had in video 2, we had the Iron Patriot with the Cabal, which had major villains. Doctor Doom, Namor, Emma Frost, Iron Patriot, and Hawkeye, not Hawkeye, Taskmaster, who could kind of swap in and out of being the main villain, and the other guys were kind of the henchmen. This is kind of doing the same idea, but instead of having one big bad, you have 3 guys. So if we flip this over, it'll be villains are under pressure and vulnerable to damage from the start of the game. When a villain is defeated, place their game piece on the villain card, canceling it. The hero who defeated them draws 1 card. When a hero is KO'd, the villains don't activate their BAM. Instead, draw a master plan card and at face down the storyline, delay the villain by 1 card. BAM, resolve the villain's BAM, starting the villain on the left mission slot, then central, then right. Then all henchmen in play activate their BAM, starting the lowest number and proceeding the ascending order. Overflow, if they can't be added, deal 1 damage to 1 hero anywhere, and heroic go when all 3 villains have been defeated. So what's interesting here is this is going to come with cards for a bunch of different characters. We have one for US Agent, Moonstone, and Dakin, who we just looked at. There. So yeah, we have 3 cards for them, so they're either the henchmen or they're the villain side, depending on which side, the threat side. But then we have 4 other ones. So if you don't own the other games, you can at least play these guys as the villains. If you bought this main set and you didn't buy the other stuff. Although if you bought this box set, you would also have Iron Patriot. So you have at least 4 characters to play as. Then the other 3 are swapped around. So we have Sentry and Ares, who are both in the World War Hulk set, so if you pick that up, you get the other 2. And then the last one is Bullseye, who is in the stretch goals, I believe the stretch goals from the original series. So that might be the one you might not have access to. But if you don't have plays them, you can always put a different character just on there to utilize that. So let's go ahead and look at their villains. Their villain sides. So we're going to do all the villains and we'll flip over and look at their threat/henchman side. So we have Moonstone, says BAM. Deal 1 damage to each hero in both locations adjacent to Moonstone and then move 1 location away from it. Moonstone can only be damaged by heroes in her location. US Agent. Deal 1 damage to 1 hero in US Agent and each adjacent location. US Agent ignores 1 damage each turn. Dakin. Deal 2 unpreventable damage to 1 hero in Dakin's location. At the end of each villain turn, if Dakin is not defeated, he recovers 2 health. Iron Patriot. Deal 1 damage to each hero in locations adjacent to Iron Patriot. Iron Patriot can't be damaged if there are any other villains in his location. He'll throw bodies in front of him. The Sentry. Deal 2 damage to each hero in Sentry's location. It can also be damaged with heroics, because it also has 10 health. Ares, God of War. Deal 2 damage to 1 hero in Ares' location. If there are no heroes there, add 1 thug. The hero deals 1 or more damage to Ares, hero takes 1 damage. And finally, we have Bullseye. Deal 2 damage to 1 hero in each adjacent location to Bullseyes. If there are no heroes there, add 1 civilian. Heroes must first forfeit 1 heroic in Bullseye's location before damaging him. So very interesting. Again, you get to play against 3 different villains. It's kind of cool that they're modular. Anything in this game that allows modular, Heralds of Galactus lets you pick different heralds. The Cabal lets you do it. This lets you do it. Anything that lets you kind of rotate, even like the Phoenix 5 has sort of that vibe. Makes for a really cool idea. Again, I don't think I necessarily want every single thing to be 100% interchangeable, but there are some that make sense. Like, I don't think every single villain needs to be part of the Sinister Six. But it would be kind of cool if they had more characters that could have swapped in for like the Horseman of Apocalypse. This, you could see a couple other villains being added into this. They could have almost made this the Dark Avengers / Thunderbolts. And then if they added if they go a Thunderbolt set, you could see them doing this with this as well. So you could have some of them characters doing double duty. So that'd be really cool. Alright, let's look at their henchmen side. So they have numbers up at the top, which will show their order. So there's 1 through 6, or 1 through 7. Just say what order they activate in. So Moonstone has Bam deal 1 damage to each hero in both locations adjacent to them. Move them 1 locations away. Can't be damaged or defeated unless she's the only henchman in play. U.S. Agent, deal 1 damage to 1 hero in this location and adjacent locations. Dakin, if there are no heroes in this location, move clockwise to this location with any heroes and no threat. Deal 2 unpreventable damage to 1 hero here. Iron Patriot, deal 1 damage to each hero in adjacent location. Not be damaged or any villains in this location. Sentry, deal 2 damage to each hero in this location, and then if there are no heroes, move Sentry clockwise to the next location without a threat. Sentry can only be defeated by spending 3 heroes in a single turn. Ares, deal 2 damage to 1 hero in this location. If there are no heroes, add a thug to it. And Bullseye, deal 2 damage to 1 hero in each adjacent location. If no heroes there, add 1 civilian to that location. Cool. Then they're going to have their regular deck of cards, which will work like this. So we have, like, villain on the left slot does this, and then central, then right. And then they all bam. Dark Avengers assemble. Move all henchmen and play 1 location clockwise, bringing back 1 random cleared threat in play in the first clockwise location without a threat, starting from the villain's location. So the reason why they said like the henchmen have to move an area without a threat is because you're not moving a piece on the board, you're moving their entire card. Cool. Then we have 2, 3, 1, 2. So we have a couple versions of these with different numbers, so like 1, 2, 3. So secret operations, you have 1 thug at each location with no villain or henchman. And then there's just some of these with the same ones with different movements. There's all a bunch of 1s. There's some 2s. There's some 3s, 3, 2, 1s. And then the other half is we have posing as heroes. So I have 1 civilian to each location with no villain or henchman. We just did those with different movements as well. You might be like, oh, it's not a lot of extra special effects on their cards, but you're also dealing with 3 villains, so that's going to make a difference. And if they ever overflow, you add one hero takes a point of damage, so that's going to be a pain enough as it is. Alright, our next villain, we're going to look at an Iron Man villain. We haven't had too many of those. Still, for whatever reason, we never got the Mandarin. He was like hinted at in season 1. And actually going through all of the miniatures, just kind of interesting. The numbers on the bottom, there was two numbers that were missing. One was the original Spider-Man design before they changed it. And then the other one was the Mandarin, who they originally had. And this is in Series 1. They're missing 2 numbers. So yeah, they originally were playing the Magger and they canceled them. I don't know if it was backlash from the Iron Man movies or if it was just they decided it was culturally inappropriate or what the case there was. Alright, we have Crimson Dynamo. Replace the Clear Threat mission with the Power Struggle mission. So he's got his own special mission card. So it's pretty dangerous. Oh, we missed a chameleon card at some point. Alright. Place two crisis tokens on Power Struggle mission. Set aside your Struggle Begins master plan, which will have starting master plan in the front. Place it on the top. Alright. It says 4, 6, and 8 health. It says, bam. Add 1 crisis token to the Power Struggle mission. A hero in Crimson Dynamo's location takes 1 damage to prevent this effect. Overflow. Add 1 crisis to the Power Struggle mission. So we're filling up this Power Struggle. Special rules. Heroes may spend heroic actions on Crimson Dynamo's location to move crisis tokens from the Power Struggle mission. 1 heroic per crisis token as many times as they wish. But you have to be in his location. When I know crisis tokens on the Power Struggle is completed, flip it and place it here, covering both the special rules and the villainous plot. Villainous plot, heroes lose anytime there are 12 crisis tokens on there. Interesting. So he's gonna bam to add tokens. He's gonna overflow to add tokens. You have to just spend stuff to remove them. Not to mention you still have your other stuff to deal with, your threats and all that stuff. Sorry, let's look at Crimson Dynamo. Whose name I don't remember. Yeah, we didn't get a lot of Iron Man villains. Could have had Whiplash. Ghost would have been cool. Yeah, at least we got this. Could have got Ironmonger. Even just like stuff from the movies. Could have got some neat guys, so. And there's like several people that have piloted this suit in the past. I can't think of any of their names though right now. Alright, let's look at his card. So first of all, we have the Crimson Vengeance special rule. Okay, so here we have the Power Crisis. So it has 3, 6, 9, 12 tokens on there. You start with 2 of them. It says, special rules. Just if you beat that, now you have to deal with this. From now on, effects will get crisis token of Power Struggle, add them to this card instead. At the end of each villain turn, if there are 4 or more crisis tokens on this card, discard all of them, draw the master plan card, get it face down to the storyline. Alright, so if you add too many crisis tokens to that card, you'll lose the game. So eventually you have to clear them all. And then this flips over, then he just speeds up the master plan. So you still have to defeat him in time. So you kind of got to play that balance between do you spend time removing other stuff or doing that. Interesting. Alright, then we have his threats. We have 3 copies of Winter Guard Power. Add 1 crisis token to the Power Struggle mission. 1 hero in this location may take 1 damage to prevent this effect. When this threat is cleared, discard 1 crisis token from the Power Struggle mission. Cool. So you can spend 3 to do this and get rid of 1 of them versus 2 on the other one. That was all 3 of those, right? Yep. Okay. Red Militia. Turn all civilians in this location to thugs. Deal 1 damage to each hero in a location with 1 or more thug. And then he's got 2 copies of Armor Power. As long as 1 or more Armor Power in play, Crimson Dynamo is on 1 damage from each hero and villain turn. Nice. So he's going to protect himself. So again, but you have to spend your heroic stars to get rid of these so you can clear the threats. Or rescuing guys to do that. Civilians. But that means that you're not removing tokens. So it's kind of that, what's your priority? 1, 2, got some different movements with some different summonings. Got some 4s, some 5s, and he's got some specials. He's got micro missiles. Deal 1 damage to each hero in both locations adjacent to Crimson Dynamos. He's got electric blasts. Each hero in Crimson Dynamo in both adjacent locations must turn all their equipment face down. If not possible, they take 1 damage instead. Yeah, it's interesting. You also have to be in his locations to do stuff. And then he has one starting master plan called The Struggle Begins. Add one crisis token to the power struggle mission. So as soon as this turn activates, he already has a third one on there. So he starts basically with 3 of 12 right off the bat. Awesome. Alright. We got some more rushing enemies to fight. We're going to look at Yelena Bolova, I believe. The White Widow. Of course, we know her from the new Black Widow movie. So she has 5, 6, and Hawkeye as well. TV series. 6, 7, or 5, 6, and 7. They'll also be part of the new Thunderbolts movie, as long as we were talking about them. Special rule, Deathless Frenzy Serum. Heroes starting their turn with one or more crisis tokens must treat one available move, heroic, or wild symbol at the bottom of their cards as attack. Interesting, so it shuts off your stuff but makes you attack more. Crisis, give one crisis token. Add deal 1 damage to the hero with the fewest crisis tokens in White Widow's location. Overflow can't be added. The hero with the fewest crisis tokens takes a token. A villainous plot. When the heroes lose when they have a total of 7 crisis tokens. Interesting. So yeah, 7 times. Every time she goes damage with the fewest one. Interesting. So don't let stay over location or don't let stuff overflow, you should be fine. Alright, let's look at her miniature and then deck. And there is her miniature. Go running action pose. Got the wrist gauntlets. Also be cool because she'll be just, opposite of Black Widow. Alright, then what are her threats? So she is going to have 3 copies of In Disguise. As long as this threat is in play, White Widow cannot be damaged if there's any other civilian in her location. And 3 copies of Widow Network. I thought it said Window. Widow Network. As long as there's 1 or more Widow Network cards are in play, each thug enemy requires 2 damage to be defeated. Nice. So there's 3 of those, so it's going to take a while to take all of them out. Very cool. And then what does her deck do? She has move clockwise next location with the fewest crisis tokens, and then bam them. Another one. And she has 2 for counterclockwise. She has some basic movements of 2s, some 4s, some 5, and a 1. And then her last ability, she has Interrogate. All heroes in White Widow and both adjacent locations reveal the top card of the deck. On their next turn, they must play that card. Ooh, kind of random, but not quite. And then Paralyzing Venom. Each hero in White Widow and both adjacent locations must discard 1 card from their hand, having any move symbols at the bottom if possible. Ooh, that could really hurt, losing a bunch of cards. Alright, then we are down to our final villain in the Kickstarter set, and in this box, our final set of anti-heroes. What we have is a team. As long as we're dealing with our Russian friends, we have the Winter Guard. So some of y'all might recognize Red Guardian there from the Black Widow movie, but we also have Ursa Major and Dark Star. Kind of the answer to the Russian Avengers, basically. Special set, place 3 villains in the villain's starting location. So this is, again, kind of like we just had the other set, is we have the 3 villains. This just works like a regular team, though. Like we've had Brotherhood or Wrecking Crew and some of those other guys like that. This just works as a big giant team. So they have their own little thing here. So we have Red Guardian has 4, 5, and 6 health. Ursa Major has 3, 4, and 5 health. And Dark Star has 2, 3, and 4. Not sure why Ursa Major has less health than Red Guardian, since he's a giant bear. But Red Guardian is move Red Guardian clockwise next location with any hero and interrogates them. Ursa Major, bam, deals 1 damage to 1 hero in their location, then deals 1 damage to a different hero there. And Dark Star deals 1 damage to each hero in adjacent locations to Dark Star. Special rule, Interrogate. The hero chooses 1 card from their hand to reveal. If it has 1 or more attacks in the bottom, increase the interrogation track by 2. In any case, put the card at the bottom of the deck. When the hero's tail abilities don't activate your BAM, instead increase the interrogation track by 1. Okay, so right now, currently only Red Guardian can interrogate, and by tailing someone they interrogate. Also, Overflow, increase the interrogation track by 1. Yeah, so definitely watch out for all 3 of those things. Alright, so then we have our characters here. So we actually have 3 miniatures. So let's take a look at our motley crew. We have another shield wielder of Red Guardian. One time I'm going to play this game with an all shield team. We have Captain America. We have U.S. Agent. We have Red Guardian now. And I think the other shield user, I'm not sure who else we have. I think Elizabeth Bradrock has one. Captain Britain Psylocke. Captain Britain Peggy Carter has one. The only villain I can think that has one would be Taskmaster. Other than if you play one of these guys as an anti-hero. So there's Ursa Major, big giant bear. And then Dark Star, who wields the... And Ursa Major, I believe, can shape change. So you can become a bear at will. And she's a dark force powers, which are like black, otherly world dimension. Same stuff that Cloak uses. Like same dimension. Alright, so then they're going to have their threat cards. Oops, knocked her over. So we're going to have 3 copies of the Red Army, which is a BAM, add 1 thug to this location. And then 3 copies of Interrogation Techniques. Interrogate a hero in this location when this threat is cleared, decrease the interrogation track by 1. So you could always get interrogated and nothing might happen, depending on what you have in your hand. But at least there's a way to potentially get rid of some of those cards. Alright, then their cards are going to work kind of like lots of the other teams. Is just going to be like, they're going to move and then do their BAM effect. But it's kind of neat, because like, 2 guys will move and do their BAM, and then the third one, wherever they move, they'll place something down. So not everyone's getting to activate the same. So you have Ursa and Dark Star. They have another one with them with different movements. And then we have a third one with them with different movements. And then we get the other combination where Ursa's on the bottom. And we get 3 of those. And then we get the 3 with Dark Star on the bottom. So some different ones for each different group. And then we get their 3 special cards. So Red Guardian has move 1, so just he does stuff. He has Belt Buckle. Deal 1 damage to 1 hero in each location adjacent to Red Guardians. If Red Guardian is not in play, draw and play an additional master plan. So if you got defeated, you would still use something. Ursa Major, clockwise to the next location with the most heroes. Wild and unpredictable. Discard all thugs and civilians in Ursa Major's location. If Ursa Major is not in play, play an additional master plan card. And Dark Star. Dark Force Constructs. Unless cards based up on the storyline, any damage dealt by Dark Star is unpreventable. So that's pretty cool. You have a neat way of being able to play through each one and get some different stuff. Plus, they're all playable heroes as well, so that's always fun. So you can play as a team of them with White Widow to have a Russian team, or add Colossus in there if you want to have another Russian character. So cool. Then we have one last card that ties right into this. This is the Winter Guard Challenge. Heroes can play back-to-back games, first with the Winter Guard, and then, if victorious, against Crimson Dynamo. The final position of the interrogation track will affect the subsequent game's setup. So this is kind of neat. Like, I wish, again, there was a little bit more challenges like this as well. in the game. Like, they've had some built like that, like defeat Black Order, fight Thanos, defeat the Horsemen of Apocalypse, do the Horsemen. This is kind of a neat way of doing that as well as some other groups. It'd be kind of neat just to add like a challenge card with this, with like the Brotherhood, then fight Magneto. Or you could have so many other things. You could have like a little alternate challenge of like, to get the Kingpin, first you have to fight Bullseye and Elektra. I was trying to see some of the other villains to see other things that would be like that. Yeah, you can have different things like that. Just defeat other couple of characters like this. Again, you don't need it for every single group, but it could be kind of neat like that. But yeah, let's see what this does on the back here. It says, if the heroes defeated the Winter Guard, set up the game against Crimson Dynamo using the same heroes and locations as their previous game. Heroes may bring with them any remaining action tokens they have. So it's kind of cool. So you're just kind of moving right to the next battle. The interrogation track was at 3 or 4. Place 1 additional Power Crisis token. I struggle if it was at 5 or 6. Place 2 instead. Yeah, so basically the higher you let this go, the harder Crimson Dynamo is going to be. But the upside, you might start with some extra tokens. So it's kind of cool as well. Alright, that's what we have for the Kickstarter box set. Video 3 with all the villains, anti-heroes. Come back, we're going to start going through all the heroes. Probably be another 2 to 3 videos for that, depending on how... They might go a little bit quicker because they don't have the big dashboards to go through as well. They don't have as many cards, lots of them are just action cards. So we might get through all them, but there might also just be a lot more of them. Check out the rest of the Multiverse set. Hit me up in the comments. See you guys later. Bye.